Hey there, it's Tracy with Record Fuel. Wanted to give you my list of artists that if you haven't heard of them or haven't listened to them before, you're definitely missing out. So first up on my list is Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. They've got two albums that they've released, and Raise the Roof and Raising Sand. Now, their combination of kind of folk music and rock, the blend of the two, it just simply blends great together, the way they harmonize, the musicians that are on here, the songwriting. The style of music is basically the same on both albums. And if you've never heard of Alison Krauss, this lady can just flat out sing. So it's great to be able to see them once in concert. But if you've not heard of Alison Krauss and Robert Plant's albums, you definitely need to check them out.
Too late, a fool could read the sign. Baby, baby.
So, number 9 on my list of must-haves, and you're missing out if you haven't heard them before, is the Monophonics. Monophonics, Sage Motel is the album. It's just amazing. I'm going to read you off the description here on the front, which it's pretty spot on. It says, sink into a soft pillow of soulful psychedelia. What I'd say about this album is that it is a throwback to soul, Motown type music, but it does definitely have a twist to it, which is more of that drawn out, slow soul. That's where I think they get this description of psychedelic in it. But the musicians on it, which is again a slow soul music, and with the bright, crisp vocals on it, very good. Very much in part of there's a new wave of some of these soul singers that have came around and or bands that are being put out. And this was released on Coal Mine Records. I'm going to show you it, and it's just absolutely stunning. This gold with kind of black smoke in it. As you can tell the label there, but this is another. The Monophonics, Sage Motel. If you haven't heard of it, you need to pick it up, need to listen to it. This is an amazing, amazing album. Number 8 on the list is a band you probably have heard of, but if you haven't, you're definitely missing out. And there's a variation on this album that I have. I have the original, but then I've got the deluxe edition. It is the Black Pumas. Their title album, Black Pumas, their first release. It is a double album set. It has the smash hit Colors on it. It has, it's a 2-disc. It has a side D is a live version of Colors, October 33, Confines, and Know You Better. It's all live in the studio. And on the third side, it has it's all covers, and it has the great rendition of Tracy Chapman's Fast Car on it. It is on black with, if you could probably see it, some red in there. Is kind of hard to see on that. And then it also is on this red with black on it. If you've not heard of the Black Pumas, they are a soul band, vocals that are just amazing. Very throwback to, again, I'm a huge Motown fan, but back to the late 60s, early 70s of soul music. The instruments on this is kind of a slow, little bit bluesy, but again has that Motown sound to it. There's a whole slew of artists that are coming out now that have that kind of sound to it, and in my opinion, the Black Pumas are probably the cream of the crop on that, at least this first album, their title album, Black Pumas. So if you haven't heard them, you definitely need to check this one out. Number 7 in this list is Leon Bridges, Coming Home. It is his first album, and it has got just some great songs on it. Coming Home is great, of course, one of the title tracks off the album. Smooth Sailing, Flowers, Pull Away, Tristan and Groovin', River, and Smooth Sailing and Shine. It's just a great album. It is, I would compare his voice to Sam Cooke and Otis Redding kind of put together. Again, a huge throwback to soul music and just the writing that he has on this album. The inner sleeve off of it has all the musicians that are on it. And then the label's on a Columbia label, but it's really cool inner label sticker there. But if you haven't heard of Leon Bridges, you need to check him out. I can't imagine you haven't, but if you haven't heard him, this is the album you want to get, Coming Home.
Surrender to the good Lord. You know, wipe your slate clean. Take me to your river. I wanna go.
Number 6 on You're Missing Out, if you haven't heard of this band, it is RNDM. This has a 3-piece band, most notably Jeff Ament, the bass player from Pearl Jam. As you can see, the album cover is just stunning in regards to that. Very graphic, which kind of goes along with all the he works on all the artwork for Pearl Jam. And that I would consider this band to be a modern rock band. And what I think of that is they are kind of a alternative, a little bit indie, a little bit jazz, bluesy, kind of, and a little bit punk also. But for a 3-piece band, their first album, which is Axe, which what's kind of cool on it is it's a double album set, and you see the logo there on the record label, RN. Got that, and the lyrics to the song. And then on the next album is D and M. So that's kind of cool that they did each one on those albums of that, the name of the band. But Axe is a little bit poppy with a touch of punk to it. Again, kind of modern rock, which kind of has that feel of a little conglomerate of all kinds of different genres in it. That was made in 2012, and their second release in 2016 was Ghost Riding. This is probably my favorite, which is Ghost Riding. It has a, again, as you can see, the artwork is really cool and the photographs on it. I think it has a feel of more of a little bit psychedelic rock with a touch of punk to it, if that makes any sense. But then going on to the label, and of course it's on this orange translucent vinyl. Very cool. Very different. The songs and the sound is just extremely different from anything I'd heard before. It's nothing comparable to Pearl Jam and what they have and have put out. It is heavy bass in this, so it's a lot of deep tones and overtones to it. Not fuzzy at all, but it's pretty crisp. But the vocals are really good, understandable. So RNDM, or Random, is a great band to pick up and listen to. If you haven't heard of them, I think you're missing out on this one. Number 5 is Gary Clark Jr., Black and Blue. I was introduced to Gary Clark Jr. by seeing the Kings of Leon. He opened up for them. I had heard one song by him, and when I saw him, he just blew me away. This is his debut album, Black and Blue, and it's got the smash hit Bright Lights on it, and it starts off with Ain't Messing Around When My Train Pulls In, which is just an amazing song also. Black and Blue and Bright Lights. It is a great guitar driven and vocal driven album. It's pretty straightforward for his style of music that he has, which is a rock, blues, but almost with a little bit of rockabilly to it, pretty fast and jumping. I would say hands down, this is his best album to date, in my opinion, although he's progressed and has some really good stuff afterwards. But this is the album, if you're going to pick up and listen to the essential Gary Clark Jr., this is what I would say pick up. I have seen him 6 times in concert, and hands down, Gary Clark Jr. is the best guitar player I've seen play live. And I've seen a lot of guitar players, everybody from Nuno Bettencourt to Eric Clapton to Eddie Van Halen. I've seen a lot of guitar players, and Gary Clark Jr. is hands down the best guitar player I've seen live. So, Gary Clark Jr., Black and Blue. Number 4 on the You Don't Know This, You're Missing Out list is the band Brad. If you've never heard of Brad, they have 4 albums out now, and this was like their 3rd album, I believe it was. But this is United We Stand, and this is what I would say, I think they finally hit their stride in regards to songwriting and being together on it. Again, the notable person of playing on this album is Stone Gossard from Pearl Jam, but it's a great album. Let's see, Miles of Rope, Bound in Time, Reason to Be in My Skin is an amazing song. The Only Way and Needle and Thread. It's just an amazing album. They've got a lot of good music, but this one here just really resonated with me, and this is on my list of, if you don't know this, you're definitely missing out. Again, Brad, United We Stand is the album label off of it. Again, Brad, United We Stand. Okay, so this one is hard rock, if you like really hard rock. This is a 2-piece group, bass and drums, Mike Kerr and Ben Thatcher, bass and drums, and this is Royal Blood. This comes with a disclaimer that you better be ready for some hard rock if you're going to listen to this album. It is what they do with bass and drums is just blew me away. This comes back to when you see opening bands sometimes. I saw them open for the Foo Fighters going on almost 10 years ago, and I'd never heard of them, and they just blew me away. They came out and it was just 2 pieces, and the amount of music and sheer noise that they made, but melodic noise. In their presentation, the vocals are really good. I think the best song off of this album, Royal Blood, is Little Monster, but it is a hard rock album, and if you like hard rock and you haven't heard of this band, you're definitely missing out. Again, Royal Blood, Royal Blood. Number 2 on my list is a side project of Jack White of the White Stripes, and it is the Rockin' Tours. And if you've never heard of them, it again is a side project of Jack White. They put out, I believe, 3 albums. This is Consolers of the Lonely, and this is my favorite album by them. It is a what I would consider an extension of the White Stripes. The difference with this is that I think that on this is a big collaboration between musicians, so they're able to expand their sound from what Jack White has. They were able to play off each other, and I believe that they have more extended melodies as opposed to just some of the riffs and the starts and the stops that Jack White and the White Stripes are famous for. So they're more melodic, a little more drawn out, a little more not really fully formed songs, but I would say they're just more filled, and the musicians are able to fill in and play off each other. I really like the White Stripes, but some of their stuff is really sharp and crisp, and it's real clean, sometimes really reverbed and fuzzy, but I like the White Stripes and Jack White, but this album for me just hit home. Again, it is a Rockin' Tours, Consolers of the Lonely, and here's the label on it. And this is my suggestion, that is if you've not heard of them, or if you've not heard this album, you need to pick it up and listen to it. And my number 1, if you don't know this band or haven't heard this album, you're missing out. I truly believe you're missing out on this. This is what would be considered the supergroup of the grunge musicians at the time. It was a tribute album after Andrew Wood of Mother Love Bone passed away. It was with the members of Pearl Jam and Soundgarden, which was Chris Cornell, Matt Cameron, Stone Gossard, and Jeff Ament playing on this, and Mike McCready. So it is Temple of the Dog, same title, Temple of the Dog, and this album is just completely amazing. All the lyrics by Chris Cornell, Say Hello to Heaven, Reach Down, Hunger Strike, Pushing Back, Call Me a Dog, Times of Trouble, Wooden Jesus, Your Savior, Four Walled World, and A All Night Thing. Of course, Say Hello to Heaven was probably the best known track off of this, but if you haven't heard this album, 100% you are definitely missing out. I was fortunate enough to go to New York and see Temple of the Dog in New York at Madison Square Garden before Chris Cornell passed away, and it was an amazing concert, amazing experience to be able to hear these songs played live. And this is my number 1. If you don't know this album and haven't heard it before, you're 100% missing out, in my opinion. It's Tracy with Record Fuel. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks so much. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave comments below. Thank you.